Good morning, everyone. Today is the 12th of August. It's Monday morning. You know, as you read through the Old Testament, you find an awful lot of things that occurred that were in opposition to God's law. And it's hard for us to even kind of read some of the things that happened in the Old Testament because there was so much depravity going on, right? Just like there's a lot of depravity going on today in our society. But in 38 chapter of Genesis, we see a lot of depravity exemplified. God had told them not to go into the foreign women of the land. And we see here that Judah went down from his brethren and turned into a certain Adulamite. And he saw a daughter of a certain Canaanite and took her, and she bare a son. She bare another son, and yet she bare another son. And then Judah took a wife for his firstborn, Tamar. And Judah says his firstborn was wicked in the sight of the Lord. And the Lord slew him. And then Judah told Ornan to go into his brother's wife and marry her and raise up seed, and so on. Well, he spilled it on the ground, and the Lord was displeased. And there's a lot of intermarriage and stuff going on here. And this is quite a story. Judah even went into his relative thinking she was a harlot. And she wanted a kid from his flock to lay with him, and he gave it to her, and she ended up coming back to haunt him, didn't it? And he was ready to have her killed when he was told she played the harlot, but he didn't realize it was the same person that he had laid with himself. And he had to end up admitting that she'd been more righteous than he. So there was a lot of sin going on. There's a lot of sin going on today. The only remedy for sin is the shed blood of Christ, right? 53rd chapter of Isaiah says he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquity, and by his stripes we are healed. All we like sheep have gone astray and turned everyone to his own way. The Lord's laid on him the iniquity of us all. So I'll turn this over to Mark and have him read this 38th chapter of Genesis. It's just really a pronouncement for me of the depravity of man. Is what it is. Just a pronouncement of the depravity of man. Genesis chapter 38. And it came to pass at that time that Judah went down from his brethren and turned in a certain Adulamite, whose name was Hira. Judah saw their daughter was a certain Canaanite whose name was Shelah, and he took her and went unto her. She conceived and bare a son, and he called his name She conceived again and bare a son, she called his name Onan. And she yet again conceived and bare a son, and called his name Shelah. And he was at Chezib when she bare him. Judah took a wife for his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. And Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord slew him. And Judah said unto Onan, Go in unto thy brother's wife, and marry her, and raise up seed to thy brother. Onan knew that the seed should not be his, and it came to pass, when he went unto his brother's wife, that he spilled it on the ground, lest that he should give seed to his brother. The thing which he did displeased the Lord, wherefore he slew him also. Then said Judah to Tamar his daughter-in-law, Remain a widow at thy father's house, till Shelah my son be grown. For he said, Lest peradventure he die also, as his brethren did. And Tamar went and dwelt in her father's house. Process of time, the daughter of Shelah, Judah's wife, died. Judah was comforted and went up unto his sheep shears to Timnath, he and his friend Hira the Adullamite. And it was told Tamar, saying, Behold, thy father-in-law goeth up to Timnath to shear his sheep. She put her widow's garments off from her, covered her with a veil, and wrapped herself, and sat in an open place, which is by the way to Timnath, for she saw that Shelah was grown, and she was not given unto him to wife. When Judah saw her, he thought her to be an harlot, because she had covered her face. He turned unto her by the way, and said, Go to, I pray thee, let me come in unto thee, for he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. And she said, What wilt thou give me, that thou mayest come in unto me? And he said, I will send thee a kid from the flock. And she said, Wilt thou give me a pledge till thou send it? And he said, What pledge shall I give thee? And she said, Thy signet, and thy bracelets, and thy staff that is in thine hand. He gave it her, and came in unto her, and she conceived by him. She arose and went away, and laid by her veil from her, put on the garments of her widowhood. And Judah sent the kid by the hand of his friend the Adullamite to receive his pledge from the woman's hand, but he found her not. Then he asked the men of that place, saying, Where is the harlot that was openly by the wayside? And they said, There was no harlot in this place. He turned to Judah and said, I cannot find her. And also the men of the place said that there was no harlot in this place. Judah said, Let her take it to her, lest we be shamed. Behold, I sent this kid, and thou hast not found her. And it came to pass about 3 months after that was told Judah, saying, Tamar, thy daughter-in-law hath played the harlot. Also, behold, she is with thy child by whoredom. And Judah said, Bring her forth, and let her be burnt. When she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, By the man whose these are, am I with child? And she said, Discern, I pray thee, whose are these, the signet and bracelets and the staff? Judah acknowledged them and said, She hath been more righteous than I, because that I gave her not to Shelah my son, and he knew her again no more. It came to pass in the time of her travail, behold, twins were in her womb. It came to pass when she travailed, that the one put out his hand. The midwife took and bound upon his hand a scarlet thread, saying, This came out first. It came to pass, as he drew back his hand, that behold, his brother came out. She said, How hast thou
broken forth. This breach be upon thee. Therefore his name was called Phares. Afterward came out his brother that had the scarlet thread upon his hand. His name was called Zerah. Next time. Thank you.
Well, I hope you all have a good day. Tomorrow, good Lord being in the matter, we'll be ready for chapter 39. And